Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Rocksteady Studios, what I think they're working on, whether or not I think that particular IP is a good idea, and when I think we could be seeing a reveal/release from Rocksteady for this new game. So before I get into the video, I was wondering if we could get 60 likes on this video, that would be awesome. And if you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe so that you can stay tuned for future content like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. So as far as what we have heard from this new Rocksteady game, and none of this is confirmed, but from what we've heard, and from job listings as well. So I guess that it's semi-confirmed, but, you know, no official confirmation. But based on job listings, it matches what a lot of the insiders are saying, which is that it will be a superhero game, that it will be a team-based game with multiplayer. And so the following IPs have been deconfirmed by the studio: Superman and Ninja Turtles. And insiders have been very skeptical that it will be Justice League, which I also agree with. And one of the things that I always kept hearing was, oh, they won't do Superman. They'll do something like Justice League because Superman's too big. And it's like, well, you know, Superman's in the Justice League, so that's a more complicated game. I don't see them doing Justice League yet, personally. I think that that's something down the line. And this new IP that I think it's going to be from Rocksteady is Titans. Now, let me explain, because I know that a lot of people really go, huh? And like scratch their head whenever I say that and seem very confused. And I think that there's a really good explanation here. First of all, I don't think it's going to be Green Lanterns. Green Lantern, at this point, just really isn't that popular outside of hardcore comics fans. It's not really popular in the mainstream again yet. And you could make that case for Superman as well, to be completely honest. You could say Superman is kind of dying out of the mainstream popularity for now, which obviously I know a lot of people on this channel are going to disagree with, because a lot of us are hardcore Superman and Green Lantern fans. But you just look at them and they're not characters that are beloved or as popular as they once were. Batman is currently, I think, the most popular, and really the Flash is quite popular as well. So we know it's not Superman, we know it's not Ninja Turtles, and we know that it's most likely not going to be Justice League. And I personally would be shocked if it's Green Lantern, because you look at the scale of that game and the size of Rocksteady, and I know that people are saying, well, Rocksteady's been working on this game for 4 years. Right, but this is a brand new IP, new engine. Arkham Knight took them 4 years, and that was an established engine with, you know, they knew what they were doing with that game 100%, and that one they had to delay just because they're such a small studio. That's what I chalk that up to. So I don't see them doing something that huge scale. I think if they were doing Green Lantern, that would probably be another, like, 3 or 4 years out. I think we're going to get something in 2020. I'll explain that more in just a second. But I think it's going to be Titans for now. And the reason is, first of all, it would make sense on a gameplay perspective. Because yes, a lot of the Titans have similar superpowers to the Justice League, but they're on a much smaller scale, and the story could be much smaller scale. And what this could do is it could allow Rocksteady to experiment with a Justice League style game without butchering the Justice League. They could, like, if Titans doesn't do great, you know, that's sad, but they can learn from their mistakes, because if you screw up a Justice League game, there's no coming back from that. But if they sort of, you know, dropped the ball on Titans, which I don't think they would, but if they did, then they could learn from their mistakes when they do make a Justice League game. So it kind of works as an experiment to see if people would be interested in this teamwork style game. They could see what types of microtransactions work, because again, they've been hiring tons of games as a service oriented type people. So we know it's going to be some kind of team game, or at least we're fairly certain it's going to be some sort of team superhero game. And Titans also have a lot of popular members at this point, and they could introduce Wally West as the Flash, experiment with some speed mechanics. And also, so first of all, I initially, when I was kind of hearing Titans in the rumor mill, and, you know, a lot of, like even me, I was pretty convinced it was going to be Titans. But when I was thinking about it, at first I didn't like the idea. Then I started thinking, what if this, because Rocksteady has always said they're done with Batman, but they keep saying how comfortable they are in the Arkhamverse and how much they like the Arkhamverse. What if this game is a follow-up to Batman Arkham Knight? Because remember, Robin is kind of the leader, and it would make sense to have some of the Bat family members come back and maybe look for Bruce and fight enemies like Deathstroke, who are still at large, which is a major villain of the Titans. But they could team up with other superheroes, and they could start introducing characters like Superman and Wonder Woman and the Flash, Barry Allen, Aquaman in cameos, while having these more sidekick characters with smaller scale abilities be experimental to the gameplay, and also narratively interesting. I think that this would work as a narrative sequel to Batman Arkham Knight. Because if Batman was alive in this universe, why wouldn't you just make another Batman game? It's what makes most sense, outside of them just being done. But I think if they want to stick with the Arkhamverse, and if this new Batman game from WB Montreal is also going to be in the Arkhamverse, they could start building more games and more characters, and I think it could be really interesting. And like I said, I'm not saying it couldn't be Green Lantern. I just don't feel like Rocksteady has the scope as a studio to do that, especially not yet. But who knows? I mean, they are working on with PS5 dev kits, so it's going to be a next gen game. So it could be a huge scale Green Lantern game. But again, knowing that it's going to be a team-based superhero game and that it's probably not going to be Justice League, I think it's most likely going to be Titans. I could be completely wrong on this, and this is all speculation. I've heard sort of like quiet confirmations that this is what it could be, but nothing definitive or concrete. But I, at this point, think that this is sounding fairly likely and realistic. Again, I don't think it's going to be Green Lantern. I don't think it's Justice League. So in terms of a reveal, I know that an insider has said that we'd see a reveal in the early part of 2019. From what I've heard, this might have been the case, but has changed due to WB Montreal being ready to release a game, because what happened is WB Games Montreal back in December went and met with the parent company WB Games, and almost immediately after seemed very excited about something, and they've started moving most of their senior game designers and huge devs over to a second IP, which most of them have gone on record saying that it's a new IP. So if this first game is basically done and they're moving all their devs to the second project, why would they just have a game that's built for this generation sitting around waiting, because it's obviously going to be built for the Xbox One and PS4, the WB Montreal one. Why would they just have it sit around and wait for like 2 years so that Rocksteady can do their game in 2020? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that this was probably a backup plan in case WB Montreal wasn't ready. And also this insider had said that it was dependent upon milestones. And maybe it wasn't for Rocksteady's milestones, but WB Games Montreal's milestones. And so I personally think we'll see WB Games Montreal this year, Rocksteady probably next year as a launch title for the next system. They could announce it this year and release it next year, but if WB Montreal is in fact releasing this year, I don't think that will be the case. I do think that this could be a really good idea if pulled off correctly, and if it was a narrative sequel to Arkham Knight, I think that would be ideal. I wouldn't want a Titans game that's not set in the Arkhamverse at this point. I think that would be really weird and bizarre. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and thanks you guys so much for watching. The support really does mean a lot, and we'll see you guys in the next one.